guys, and welcome to my channel. I am in the process right now of making some more face masks. I made some for my fiance and his girls, and I made a couple for me and my son, and now I am making some for my cousin. So I just figured I'd share this with you, how I'm doing it. The first thing I have done is I took a piece of paper and I marked it out where it's 10 by 6. I have folded my material in half with the bottom part, the part that you want to see, flipped in the middle. I have folded it in half and I've cut it into it, so it's saving me time to do that. And I have taken the iron and I have ironed that flat so that way it'll be easier. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sewing machine and I'm going to sew all of the masks straight down the one side. So I am just going to use just the one color, and I have a bunch of masks ready to go with the material. So I think I'm making like 4 masks. So the next thing that you are going to do is we are just going to take the mask and we're going to flip it the right way, the way we want it. And then I am just going to use the iron, and I'm going to iron this nice and flat just to make it easier. And what this is going to do, it's just going to make it easier for me as I am going. And then I'm going to take either side. I'm just going to go ahead and do this whole thing. And mine, I've been doing probably about a ½ inch, quarter to ½ inch. And I'm just going to press that down. And that's just making it so I don't have to use a whole bunch of pins to do this. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. That's just going to make it easier for me when I go to sew it, that it's already bent over like that. Okay guys, the next thing I'm doing now, I've got it all ready to just about finish. I'm taking elastic. Now mine's about a quarter of an inch. You can go even smaller than that. It just happens to be what I have on hand. I'm going to cut it to about 6 inches in length. And you're going to need 2 of those. So I'm doing 4 masks, so I'm actually going to need 8. So I'm just using my elastic as the measure. I had actually bought this elastic. I was going to use it to do ponytail, to make homemade scrunchies. But then with all this coming up, See, I've got, there's for one, there's for two. So I need two more pieces. But with all this coming on, luckily for me, I had all this stuff in stock. I had everything I needed. That I don't have to try to go out and find all this stuff in stores. And I have some other elastic that I already had as well, but it's much thicker, much wider than what I have. Okay, so we have two for each one, and they're going to be at 6 inches. Sew down our side seam, and when we do that, we're also going to add in the elastic at the same time. So you're going to put it in there, and then I hold it over. And whenever I'm doing my edge seams, I'm going over it more than just once and then backwards again, just because I want them to be nice and strong. And then I am actually not even taking this out, I am just turning it. And I'm going to go ahead and sew down the side. I'm going to stop a little bit soon, and I'm going to roll this around, and I'm going to put that over that side, and just fold it over. And then just going to make sure my needle is at the highest position to be able to turn this. And yeah, I do go over mine quite a few times just because I want to make sure that that elastic's going to be constantly pulled on. I just want to make sure that it is a nice strong, that it's not going to pull out real fast after you're going to use it once. So you can see I've gone over it several times. And so we have our one side. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to do the other side. Same thing. I'm going to take that piece of elastic, I'm going to fold it into the seam, and I'm going to start by sewing that piece of elastic on. Same thing on the other side. I'm taking it in there, probably about between a ½ inch to an inch, whatever you feel comfortable with. Turn that so I can finish there. So I'm going to go through now, and I'm going to trim off all those loose strings. And right now it's just a basic mask. This is more, I kind of followed partially by the CDC's recommendation. The only difference is they wanted you to have a 6-inch piece of elastic that was thinner, and they wanted the ½ inch, and they wanted it to run down the sides, and then you knotted it and stuck it in. But I did one like that, and I found that it was kind of took a lot more elastic than what they called for, and it kind of made the sides where it was pretty loose even with the elastic. So what I'm going to do next, turn the side machine and I'll show you on this one. I'm taking my basic thing I have here. This is actually from the CDC where they said, well, this is actually another one that said to do it 9 by 6, but the sizing on there that it printed out was not 9 inches. So I'm going to take, and you see the lines on here, I'm going to take these main darker lines and I'm going to line up my mask on there. And I'm going to mark those main lines, and that's just giving me the marking for my folds. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You can do it that way, or you can fold it down and, you know. And they're probably about 1 inch apart. I'm actually using water dissolvable marker. You can use whatever you want. So this will, even though there's pink marks on there, it's going to wash out on its own really easy. Let me get my pens. And now I'm going to do the folds. So whichever way you want to do it, just want to make sure that you're doing them all the same direction. So I'm going to take it on that fold. Fold it over. And I'm going to put that pin through. Make sure I have the same thing on the other side. So it is even. There's our first one. And this actually makes it where it doesn't stick out so far on the side and everything. It actually looks a whole lot better that way. I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to fold that one in. And then again, I'm going to put our pins in there. And we're making sure that you're doing the folds all the same direction. You're going to take your last one and fold that one up. There we go. And now we are going to put it in the area. I'm going to go down so that the mask where the fold is, it's going not against it, but the same direction, and that's just going to make it easier. I'm flipping my elastic up. That's just going to make it a little bit easier to make sure that I don't accidentally go over top of it. And I just do mine real slow, take my time, and I pull the pins out as I go along. So I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line it up the best I can with where I originally. Yep. Okay. And I'm just going to start. And I'm going to start just a little bit short, and I'm just going to slowly pull them out as I go. I'm going to do the best I can to try to just follow that line and just turn the material so it's all doing the same. To try to make it as much as I can where you're actually sewing over the original line that you had. Backwards, forwards. I make sure my needle is all the way in the upper position. I'm sorry, the neighbors, we had some tree service come in and they are cutting a tree down across the street. So it's pretty noisy in here and I do really apologize. I didn't know they were going to do that. So there we go. It's almost right along the line. Okay. I'm just going to cut off that extra little bit of string. And I go over my lines more than once, back and forth, just to try to make it, like I said, I don't want it where you wear it one time and it comes apart. So, you know, I want it to be able to these to last. And I know for me, I'm going to use them while I'm dumpster diving after the ones that I made for myself and my family. We're going to be using those for dumpster diving after this is all over with, when we don't have to have the mask anymore. So we will still be making use of these masks. But these are not for, these are for family, but not for my family here at the house. Same thing. I follow it down the line. And I am just going to slowly pull the pins out. And I have my sewing machine put on the sew setting. I got to say I'm nowhere near, you know, an awesome person that's sewn. I haven't sewn a lot. But, I mean, they definitely make this look simple, straightforward. Pull that last one out. There we go. I'm going to go through. I'm just going to make sure I have all the little loose strings and stuff off there, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Especially this one is going to my cousin, and I want it to look nice for her. I mean, if we have to wear a mask, we might as well have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for coming. I hope it's helpful for you. I am not a master sewer. I am in no manner whatsoever a person that does a lot of sewing. So this is pretty simple. You can go on and get, like I said, 10 by 6. And I just fold it over. That way I'm not having to do double the cutting in that. So thanks for joining me. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up and let me know what how you did yours. If yours is any different, what you did or didn't like about the mask. And I'll see you later. Thanks, guys.